We all know that working hard isn't the whole game. We need to work smart too. But how do we actually do that? A big part of it is understanding how the people that decide where you go next in the company actually think. Your managers sees you through the same lens as they were once seen before. Their values, their journey, what mattered when they were climbing the ladder. Learn that and the guessing stops. Listen to enough managers and the pattern becomes obvious. That's what this series is about. Sitting down with the people that makes these calls and understanding how they actually think.
We don't want to see that, you wrote 200 lines of code. That's not an update I'm interested in. There are some cases where you see that it makes mistake.
Hmm.
How one can pinpoint those mistakes? One, when you have a strong fundamental. You don't want to complete just a task to tick mark something. No, you're there to solve something. I got a problem statement. I want to solve that problem statement. I would look for whom I can trust to solve this problem. It is taking that to a production. That is a boring stuff, but very important. Are you trying to move away from that part? That creates different thoughts. Should I trust that person?
Today we have Mr. Prashant Bhende with us, currently working in enterprise Gen AI and agentic AI strategies. He has 10 plus years of experience in global technology companies. Throughout this conversation, we are going to try and understand how to get his trust, how to show ownership, and what he personally looks into a new engineer. You can also connect with Prashant sir. The link is in the description below. So let's get started. So Prashant sir, you have gone from building and like being an individual contributor to leading teams and now shaping enterprise AI strategy. Looking back, how has the way you make decisions evolved over time? Like, are there a few principles or mental models that have stayed constant throughout the journey?
Okay. So, if I look back my career, right? So there's no single quite a big decision or something which I took or a very big pattern or something which I constantly follow, which helped me, look like this. It was like a consistent small steps. There's a repetitive behavior which helped me do that. And one, if you talk about one mental model, is the learning never stops. If you
Hmm.
if you come out of your engineering career, everything, learning never stops. So the IT field is also growing in a speed where you can't imagine. Currently,
Hmm.
with the world of Gen AI, how the things are shaping inside Gen AI in a technology also, if you see how things are moving forward, starting from how the prompt engineering take place now, where the skills are and all those things. So at a speed where it grows, you should have a habit of learn quickly. And not just quickly, you should always have that interest that you want to learn. You have a habit of learning. Not something like you done with your engineering or your masters and then you don't want to learn. You just want to do something and get out of it. So for me, what helped me a lot is the one particular, you can say a pattern, learning never stops. You should keep on exploring new technologies. You can keep on exploring new things, learn about it, not just from a technical aspect of it, but from like a behavioral thing or leadership part, anything. You should, uh, you know, keep on listening to our experts. You keep on listening to what is happening across the world. Keep listening to different technical talks. Keep reading the articles. New things are coming. So keep on the learning phase. Even if you see my career, like along with my career progression, I have done way too many courses. I've been into multiple workshops and all. Just wanted to make sure that I understand not on the particular close environment, but how others are working on the same environment from a different companies, from different industries. A different perspective comes for a particular problem. So if you keep on doing that, if you keep your focus on you are open to learn at whatever the career stage you are, not just at early stage, even if you
Hmm.
move to a senior position role, if you put yourself that you're open to learn, you're open to learn quickly, you're open to learn any new things, that's going to help you a lot in progress your career.
Okay, so I just had one question regarding this. You said that you need to keep on learning. Now, there is
Yeah.
one thing that all of us face when we go to offices, when we are in our internship, we don't get that much time. So, what are
Hmm.
your ways to somehow in the time, like other than just doing courses or reading stuff, learning from people around you, what do you do to understand what to learn, how to learn from people instead of just courses and other
Okay.
stuff?
So I'll give you the example of same kind of situation when I get interns, when I used to get
Hmm.
an interns so or any other company. So one of the few early suggestion which I give to my interns or also someone who newly joined just after graduation or master they completed and they joined the company. The first thing which I tell them is that reach out to as many people as possible. That's one of the part where you learn from different people inside your team, outside the team, and inside the company. And second thing, whenever there is a problem statement given to you, because you join
Hmm.
early is the training period and all, once that is get over, you get your first problem statement. This is what you have to work on. That your
Hmm.
manager will give you, your team lead will give you, and everything. But there is a learning opportunity where that you do your own research on this is the problem statement and how we can solve this. You would have get a lot of guidance from your team lead, from your hiring manager, because that's how you started your career. That's why you get a guidance. But one of the session which I give to my interns and all that you do your own research. This is a problem statement. What are the best ways to solve this problem? Not just one. You come up with a multiple ways. That's one of the part where you explore and learn about technology. Because when you join a new company, anyways, the corporate world is new to you. It's not
Hmm.
something which is you already explored, right? This is new to you. How you solve the real world problem. This is where you're going to apply whatever the skills you learned throughout your curriculum into a real world scenario. So anyway, this is new to you, right?
Hmm.
While doing that, don't go with the first option what you have to solve the problem. Explore, do your research because that is the time where you're going to explore more and learn about a different ways of solving the same problem. That's one way of learning. And then reaching out, what I said, reaching out to as many people as possible. Now, don't reach out like with a, empty hand or you figure out that someone will spoon feed you, right? You go with that. This is something which I'm trying to solve. I have come up with like this one, two, three options. I feel option second is a good, but I would like to get your inputs. Go with this
Okay.
approach because that the person in front of you will also feel, no, you wanna just come here to waste my time. You not just come here
Hmm.
to give you something at your palm, but you come here for a very good desire to learn, and you have an interest to explore and solve the problem at better stage. So that person will also be in a more environment that I can help you better. So
Okay.
these are the starting points where you can go, and one of the ways where you can learn instead of doing the courses and the conventional way. This is the way we can do in the corporate world without losing your time to solve something which is already given to you. And when you join a company and when you start a corporate world, you have a very strong itch to complete something, right? So
Hmm.
while doing that, there is a lot of ways where you can learn. So interact as many people as you can, reach out to as many people as possible. Because when you start a early career, there's no way like people judge you that someone's stupid and why you asking a question. You got a
Hmm.
job, you have to do something on your own. That is the kind of a myth. You should go get away from that part. Reach out, but don't reach out in a way that expectation that they will give everything on your palm. That's why, like,
Okay.
do your own research, figure out what are the multiple ways to solve the same problem, then go with those options and try to explore more.
Okay. So, like learning is something that we can do by reaching out to people. One more thing that a lot of like students hear before entering the corporate world is being more visible. Now, from a
Hmm.
manager's perspective, what do you mean by visibility actually? Like, does the manager keep on try to notice those small things in every engineer, in every new intern, or is it something that you just feel naturally and people need to be more natural about it rather than force it?
Okay. Before I answer that question, I just want to understand what you mean by visibility. At least from your perspective, what do you guys feel? It's just a word, or you have some understanding for that word?
Yeah. So from what I have learned, like what I have heard and understood about visibility is that once, like in your team, there are going to be a lot of opportunities coming throughout. So
Hmm.
your manager or your team lead should think that, okay, if I want this particular work to be done, this kind of person I can reach out. So if I am
Hmm.
visible, I am showing my presence in the team and I want to contribute, then they might give me those opportunities. That is what I think. From a manager's
Okay.
perspective, what is it?
Okay. So from the angle what you're coming from is building a trust
Hmm.
for me.
Yeah.
Like suppose I'm running my team and I got a problem statement. I want to solve that problem statement. I would look for whom I can trust to solve this problem, right? Now, if I start from the visibility angle and then see how we can come to this part. So visibility doesn't mean that you have to share every single step what you took. Like, I have developed this function, I write this function, I'm going way too low level so that, when you, because I'm expecting the audience is more like early in careers or just starting the career. So we don't want to see that this is function you write, this is the small step you took every day or something like that. No, what we would like to listen, or not just us, any team members, or if you want to share with multiple teams, what are the problem you're trying to solve, what approaches you took, and then there are some failures, right? Initially, what something got failed, what you learn from it, and based on that learning, what you're doing next. In this simpler form, that's it. If you are able to share that with a wider team, that is a starting point how you can share your work to a not just to a manager or not just to a person who are solving a lead, right? You want to share some to multiple people. We don't want to see that, you wrote 200 lines of code. That's not an update I'm interested in. Is
Hmm.
that what you're trying to solve the problem? Something worked, something didn't work. If it didn't work, what you taught, what you get out of it, what you learn from that, and based on that, what next step you're taking. If you share this is very effective, not just to someone who report to like a manager, but even if you share with a senior management team, that is way too effective. And that start building a perspective that a particular person is not just thinking about the task, not just thinking about completing a day, but a person is interested in solving a real world problem, improving himself or herself, and look forward to solve a bigger problem in future, trying to look at the bigger picture. So slowly
Okay.
when you do that, and with that, when you increase your speed, you're solving more problems, you're not repeating the same mistake, that helps build the trust with your manager, with your leads and all. When you repeat this behavior, because the consistency is a key, you have to repeat the
Hmm.
behavior. It cannot be a one spike throughout the time
Hmm.
period. It cannot be one or two spikes. That doesn't build the trust. That builds like, yeah, that person have a capability. But trust comes from a very strong, consistent behavior. If you consistently repeat this behavior, not just one or two spike, you consistently repeat the behavior, you consistently showing that you are improving, learning from your mistakes, because you keep on making mistakes. After completing what 10, 11 years in my industry, I still make a lot of mistakes. But once you make a mistake, once you make a mistake, you learn from it, and you are not trying to repeat, and you're trying to make a new mistake. You know, so when you repeat that behavior, that builds a strong trust with your senior, like a lead or manager or senior management team. Once that trust gets built, then something like this happen, right? When new problem statement come, whom I can trust that if I given that problem statement to that particular person, I would be somewhat worry free. That problem will get solved.
Okay. So in short, visibility you can't get from day one. You have to show it through consistency and reliability throughout
Yes.
your projects. Okay.
Yes.
So, like, I just wanted to give you a scenario. So, throughout your career, like when you guided new interns, uh,
Mhm.
like there are different kinds of people. Some are very fast to catch up and are able to progress in their career faster than the other. Have you seen
Yeah.
any kind of pattern in how they learn, in what kind of behaviors they have?
Okay. So if I tell you, like, I think I would like to repeat the same thing. The,
Okay.
the person I worked on, and I know they have progressed quite fast compared to others. Or for example, you get a lot of interns, but not all of them gets converted into a full time. So only a small percentage of those people get converted into full time. What It's not like they have an exceptional talent. You already got hired, so you can imagine that all of you are at the same level. because the interview process is same for everyone. So once you pass that bar, there is a minimum threshold, but all of you have a same technical skills. All of you have a same, talent somewhat, or you can have a same capability to solve the problem. What makes few people different from other is that how they are reaching out to other people. They don't feel that when I ask a question or when I reach out for help, a particular person will judge me. You have to get that thought out of your mind. Don't feel that even if someone judges you, you are early in career. So don't afraid of that. If someone feels that you don't know that part, it's okay. You're there to learn, you're there to explore, and you're there to build your foundation. So one thing which I found very different to a few people compared to others who can make a difference is how they reach out to a different people, how they reach out to a different team members. When you join as an intern or when you join a new career, you assign to a small group so that you can work with them. But you go out of that. You try to reach out to your different team members inside the same manager or inside the same org or what we call a sister team in the sense like there's senior management and then they have a different reporting management and there's a different team. So how you reach out to all of those guys to understand what kind of work they're doing, how they're approaching the problem. So you get to learn of different perspectives. And when this kind of perspectives, approaches helps a lot in early career stage because you get to see a lot of perspective. You say to see a lot of ways to solve a similar problem. You get to learn from a different people. Those are working in the industry for a good amount of time, so they already build some different kind of skills. So try to learn from them and then see what you can apply. You cannot apply everything. So we are human at the end of the day. So you cannot apply everything, you cannot grasp everything. But when you try to get this kind of information from multiple sources, lot of things get stuck with you. So this is what I experienced that helped a lot of people. You reach out, try to see, talk with them, how you can get a help from them. That one skill I feel help a lot, so many engineers to make a better career and move faster.
So, like, I just want to ask a different kind of question. Uh, See, one thing is whenever a new engineer or intern joins a team, they have been assigned a mentor or a guide along with them that you need to do project with them.
Yeah.
So, in this, one thing that a lot of new interns, especially, face a
Hmm.
problem is when to take the ownership of the work. Because till now, what they think is it's their job, their mentor's job, and they're helping them out, but
Hmm.
sometimes it's not. Like, you need to figure out that line above which you can actually go and take the ownership of the project, ask people around, and then come up with a solution, build it and show it to your mentor. But there has been like a lot of cases in which you feel that no, maybe I shouldn't, and then time passes on and it's too late now. What do you
Yeah.
do as in that situation?
Okay. So one thing, when you get a problem statement from your lead or manager, it's not like that they don't want you to solve. They're given to you because they want you to solve the problem. But it doesn't sort of mean that you have to work in silos. So one thing which I spoke in the start of my discussion is that when you get a problem statement, right, don't have a very strong itch to get to a solution very fast. Okay, don't try to do that. How you can take a help and how you can show the ownership is a very, I feel this is a nice framework. When you get a problem statement, figure out, basically break the problem, look at the bigger picture of the problem. If you don't understand that, then go to your mentor or your lead or a manager that you want to understand how this problem is going to help you or help the company or help the team. Just try to get that understanding. That shows that you're not here to solve the task. You're here to understand how your contribution help a team to grow faster, help the company move forward. Once you get that understanding, figure out multiple ways to solve the problem, not just one way, because there is no one straightforward way. There are always multiple ways to solve the same problem. Figure out multiple ways by doing some research, and now the research becomes quite easy. So whatever the AI tools you have at your disposal, use all of them to its full potential. Figure out multiple ways to solve the problem, and then You need to pick one, which based on whatever experience or whatever the perspective you have to pick one. Then go to your mentor again or leads again that this is the problem statement you're given to me. I feel this is how you need to solve. I have researched this multiple ways and I feel option third or second is the best possible solution. I know I'm repeating things, but this is effective. You go with that. You share that this is what I feel is strong one. That shows that you have a strong ownership that you don't want to solve something and move ahead. You don't want to complete your day. You don't want to complete just a task to tick mark something. No, you're there to solve something. So that shows a very strong ownership. Early in career, the ownership it doesn't mean that you worked in silos and complete the things because that is not expectation. We all know that you just come out of from your academy, right? You don't have all those expertise, and we don't want you to suffer in silos. But we also want you to take some things on your own. And when you come here, there is some sign of accountability. There is some sign of responsibility. That shows that you are getting ready for the corporate world. So when you do this repetitively, that shows your lead, that shows your mentor, that shows manager that you're taking strong ownership and you're not taking call on your own and try to fall. You're taking an informed call. You figure out the options. You're coming here now to take a small guidance where you can move forward with some guidance, but inform one. Not like you wanted to work in silos and show something very quickly. So if
Okay.
you try to follow this kind of a behavior, I think that shows a very early signs of that you have sense of ownership and you want to help the team.
Okay. Got it. So there is one question from Rishi Pavel. Uh,
Okay.
what does learning actually mean when the code is written by AI and we have to look over or so, and also how to do it? Like, how do you learn from the code that is written by AI and you need to show that you have actually done it and not just vibe coded the whole thing?
Okay. One fact we should all be very comfortable now is the way of writing code is changed. We should we should be very frank about it and we should adopt this. Writing the code changed a lot throughout this recent time. So don't feel that there is a vibe coder and there are normal code. So I feel that AI assistant code or code written by AI, like more than 80% or something, or 90% of the code, is something we all should be very comfortable with. The reason behind that whole world is moving that fast. It doesn't mean that we don't need engineers. It's that we have to move faster because of this help. Earlier is that whatever you get a problem statement, you rely on Stack Overflows or somewhere or gigs or all those communities to help you move faster, right? You still go to those platform trying to figure out and then move forward. So the vibe coding or you say the AI written code, you should be very comfortable in that fact. One thing doesn't change or not same. Say two things. Fundamental of all those concepts like fundamentals of oops, fundamentals of solving problems, data structure and all, we all should be very familiar with that. That's how you understand the code, right? Whenever you try to write the code, you see that a lot of times the AI write a code very nicely. If you take example of Claude or Codex or something, all those tool or harness you use, you get a pretty impressive code. But there are some cases where you see that it makes mistake.
Hmm.
How one can pinpoint those mistakes? One, when you have a strong fundamental. So as an engineer, you should never move away from your fundamentals. Fundamentals, when I say, if I go pretty low level, take an example of how abstract class works, how abstraction works, how different oops works, or solid principles. All those things, they are sits at a fundamental level. You should be very strong in fundamental. Where and then when you have that strong fundamental, you put a prompt, you do everything, you get a code out of it, then do an overlook and a review of that code. And it becomes very easy because you don't want to look at every small things, but look at the fundamentally the design is good, is the flow is good, or there are some mistake it done. And then that helps you to debug the code faster. Because writing the code is anyways before the change of this AI was also not that difficult because we rely on all those community help. The major difficulty part is how you debug the code. The 90% code gets ready very easily. It's just that right now the time is fast. But once you have that code, how you debug that to make it to a working state. So all those help get you're able to get that stage when you have a strong fundamental. So if I have to answer in a very short, we can say that vibe coding is something you should get comfortable with, but don't move away from fundamental. While you're learning, if you're in engineering, still doing your bachelor's or master's, you have to make sure that whatever you're learning or something, you have to focus on building that foundation and building that fundamental knowledge of data structure, OOPS, solid principle, and all those very strong. Don't move away from that. Even right now with the vibe coding and all, the one part doesn't change. Solving problems still is a bigger part of your engineering job. Earlier also, you're doing the same thing. Before the world of this AI thing, we are solving the problems. It's just that speed was different. When you're solving the bigger problem, you break it down and then you think about how can I design this API? How can I design this kind of functions and all? You think about that part. Now, when you know that AI can help you, you go bit level up. How can you integrate these two systems? Because you know one part of system, one part of service can be built very quickly. So the problem solving is still there. That's why I'm saying that don't move away from fundamentals. So vibe coding
Okay.
is still there. You should rely on how the AI code gets written, but when you review the code, your fundamental is going to help you, and the problem solving is not moving away. So stick with that, and then you're gonna have pretty great time because this is a very great time to. I feel this is a very great time to be a software engineer
Yeah,
because you can
agreed.
solve as many problems as you can. It's just your imagination and how strong you fundamentally are that's going to stop you.
Okay. Okay. So I have just one last question for you. Uh, like at one point, you were the engineering manager of automation, like a team that handled automation. And from
Yeah.
there, you jumped to a team like the engineering manager of Omniverse, of completely like your domain shifted, I think, kind of. So you were like
Okay.
helping with AI, bat.ai, and other stuff. Most of
Hmm.
us like are not able to see those opportunities. Like there are a lot of people that are on the same level as you, and to
Hmm.
grab an opportunity, what kind of strategy or overall habits that you use to like grab an opportunity? Most of us like think maybe that is not for me, maybe I'm not ready. What kind of things
Okay.
that did throughout your career that made you feel ready for that moment so that I can grab that opportunity?
Okay. So if I want to ask the same question to you again, suppose as a intern or early in career, suppose you join and you see there's an opportunity. What triggers you to think about this is not your cup of tea or this is not something you should do? What triggers? What kind of thoughts you get? When you get this, basically, what are the supporting thoughts to come to this line or this conclusion that this is not for me, or I'm not the right person, or this is not my cup of tea, something like that.
To be honest, I have always been like bold enough and vocal about everything that I want. Even during my internship, if I like the
Hmm.
particular project, I would just approach my manager. I want that, and
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if he says no or yes. If he thinks I am ready, he'll put me in. If not, then not. But one of the things that I feel is like maybe I'm not technically that good enough for that, or maybe I don't have enough time to give like my current projects and all.
Okay.
That is what I have thought
Hmm.
about all of this.
So anyone, like when I see, uh, there are few patterns. Okay, one of the most repeated one, like people fears a failure. They feel that I'm comfortable in solving what I'm doing right now. If I try to do something new, there's a high chance of failure, and I don't want to show that. That's one. Second, people who are way too, you know, vocal or enthu and reach out that I want to solve this, I want to try this, I want to try this. Want to see that what you're doing at your current problem segment. Do you want, are you trying to live wherever it is currently? Because when you're trying to solve a problem or a project, the initial part is very exciting because that is where the problem solving comes, exploration
Hmm.
comes, all those things comes. After that, it is taking that to a production. That is a boring stuff, but very important. Are you trying to move away from that part? Okay. So
Hmm.
that's the second thing which I would notice. And third one, if someone is coming to me to see that I want to try this, I want to try this opportunity. How you're reaching out? What is your intention? If you're someone is coming that I got bored on doing what I was doing right now, that is something is I don't feel up to my capability. If all this kind of a behavior comes when you're trying to switch from one to second, second to third, that creates different thoughts. Should I trust that person? Can I give it to you? Sometimes, yes, you can get bored to something, but it cannot be a repetitive thing.
Hmm.
So all those things comes into mind when someone reach out that I want to try this. How you reach out is that you should always feel that first thing, the fear thing, what I talk about. When you are early in career, that is what is expected from you. You fail fast.
Hmm.
You have to fail fast. That is what expectation.
Yeah.
We feel that you just joined the company, you are just into a corporate world. We know you're going to fail. What makes you difference is that how fast you're failing. So don't have that fear that you cannot fail. It's okay to fail. You have to just own that mistake and improve. So move forward. So if you see that there's a problem statement in front of you, there's an opportunity in front of you, and you feel that you don't know everything about it, but it is very exciting for you, go and reach out. Don't have that fear that if I reach out, if I try to solve that problem, I'm gonna fail. It's okay, you're going to fail, that is expected. But reach out because you feel this interesting to you. Second part, when you're trying to jump from one to second, second to third, don't jump without completing the first. Or when you're going to, even the first part is in transition, build a trust to your lead or to your manager that you're going to complete that. It's just that second part which you're talking about is way too interesting and you want to explore because that is where your inclination are or you want to explore the technology. But you have to give a confidence that what you are working on the first part, I will make sure that I'll get complete to production. I'm not moving away from that boring stuff. Just because
Okay.
of that, I'm not moving. I'm moving because I'm find that particular opportunity is very interesting. It is giving me, butterflies in my stomach because I'm going to try that out. But I'm not moving
Hmm.
from the boring part. So that when I start with that new, that give a trust that that person will not move away once the exciting part gets over,
Okay. So it's
right?
more about the intent with which you are reaching out to your manager.
Yeah, yeah. You go with the right intent and don't have that fear of failure because early in career, even not early, I'm talking way too many times that early in careers, wherever you are, it's
Hmm.
okay to fail. It's just that the stakes are different. In early
Hmm.
stages, the stakes are not that high. When you move up in the ladder, the stakes are high, but it's okay because you have to fail fast. Once you build that habit, even if you go up in a ladder, you fail much faster, and then you learn from it and you pivot and take a better call. So remove that fear. At least
Okay.
in early phases of your career, you shouldn't have that fear. It's okay to fail. Just fail fast.
That's the conversation. Thank you for watching. If you have a question or a story to share, DM me on LinkedIn. The link is in the description below. Could be your question in the next one, or could be you in the chair. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.